Where did I end last time? Oh yes, I was able to juggle 3 balls and have a go at 4. I was even able to almost flash 5, but it was messy. It was now late 2007 and I went on holiday to Sri Lanka. Within the space of 2 weeks, I went from being unable to do 5 balls to getting about 12 catches with them. I even sussed the Mills mess out on my own, after a month of doing it wrong. I loved how at the beginning of each practice session I'd be bad, then I would slowly warm up, and then after 20 minutes I'd be matching or beating my previous day's record. This would happen daily. After that came 8 months of hardcore juggling. I'd happily start to practice every day, then go on for far longer than I had intended. It had that addictive one more go feeling to it, and it was thrilling to see moves I previously thought impossible gradually get easier until I could happily claim to have mastered them. When I started out, I thought of 5 balls as the holy grail of juggling. Anything below seemed too easy, and even the best in the world practiced 5 a lot, with lots of tricks of course. If I could do the basic 5 ball pattern, surely I'd be halfway there. A lot of my progress videos were simply recording my longest 5 ball runs at the time. By April I had got to 100 catches. Once you reach that sort of stage with a certain number of balls, you're still not 100% happy with it, but you can start learning tricks associated with that number and the vanilla pattern will gradually improve on its own. Even to this day I wouldn't say that I'm completely solid with 5, though I can do hundreds of catches for several minutes before making a mistake. Most of the time it's because I zone out or try to concentrate too hard on the cascade of balls above my head. When I drop, I know it's a one-off. But anyway, with a decent grasp of 5 I moved to 7. Screw 6. That required being equally good with both hands, of which I wasn't. My left hand was far worse, but I just didn't care. Even to this day, I don't hate myself too much for being stronger with one than the other. I guess it depends on what you're ultimately trying to achieve. My right hand would make people overestimate my overall juggling skill, but it was great for reaching those endurance records for 3 and 4 balls in one hand. Why bother learning it in the other hand as well? By now I had discovered a thriving juggling community. A website named Juggling DB was a godsend, allowing you to enter your records and to track them as time went on. I learned juggling at a very exciting time, as world records were being beaten almost on a monthly basis and all of the big stars of juggling were active. I would also keep track of people who were slightly better than me. I was catching up and surpassing them quickly. It was so rewarding. Not that I wanted to be the best, but I could see progress. It was satisfying and rewarding. I was speeding along and secretly racing against Aussie Diablo, who was at a similar level to me throughout my time juggling. His ultimate aim was to do a 10 ball flash. Not something I had ever considered that much, though since he was aiming for it, why shouldn't I? Not that I practiced it that much. I figured that it would come naturally once I became good enough at 8 and 9 balls. I loved Vova Galchenko and Thomas Dietz, but my favourite was Anthony Gatto, who seemed superior to everybody else at large numbers of objects by a mile. I'd watch his videos on repeat. I'd grow to love all of the music he used in the background. I'd memorised his records and collected all of the videos he had online. His work was truly inspiring. Now I had 7 balls in my sights. I didn't like juggling outside, as it would either be too cold, too hot, too sunny or too windy. I began at university and by chance happened to be in the only halls in the entire campus that had a high ceiling in the common room. The number of hours I spent juggling there. I'd end with my clothes sticking to me with sweat and a new personal record in the things I did. It was great. Our flat was quite antisocial and quiet and hardly ever used the common room. A mixed blessing I guess, but perfect for my juggling skills. Thanks to juggling I had a perfect society to join and to meet like-minded people in. I met some great people in that society and my social life at university would have been horrendously depressing and dull without it. Okay, so some things happened at that society that I didn't enjoy, but at least things happened. Plus I got an awesome hoodie out of it. It was at that stage that I began making proper juggling videos. No longer would it just show a small or long uncut clip, but would now be accompanied with music and would display the best of everything I could do at that stage. With juggling this brings about certain problems. Your best performances are always amidst hour-long training sessions, which makes for boring videos. If I did do videos outside, it would appeal far more to people who didn't know how to juggle, but would be slated by those who did. That being said, the juggling community is far better than the Counter-Strike one. Yes, juggling kind of replaced Counter-Strike for me. I'm better at Counter-Strike than I am at juggling, but who cares? You'd be accused of cheating, or you'd simply come face to face with the best in the world and get beaten. Juggling is hard to fake, and there are so many ways of making what you do stand out, even if you aren't the best. And best of all, it's a skill that won't go out of date, unlike a computer game which is likely to be superseded by a newer one. I continued to practice throughout my first year of university and into mid-2009. I grew quite comfortable with 7 and even managed 8 and 9 ball juggling. I skipped most of the tricks because they didn't really appeal to me. Within the space of almost 2 years, I had nearly reached my peak. I loved what I did and showed no signs of slowing down. But I did. It's not a depressing tale, however. Some of my best memories of juggling were during this final period, and I'll explain why in my next video. Thank you for watching.